My name is Tiffany Spraggins-Payne. You are listening to Zigzag, a weekly podcast discussing women in science, technology, transportation, engineering, entrepreneurship, mathematics, and related industries. On Zigzag, we discuss inclusion and diversity news, current trends, and have special guests speak about their experiences, including their competitive edge in the marketplace. Today, my guests are the dynamic duo, which is Syreeta Scott and Shanti Mayers. They are the founders of the Sable Collective, a fashion oasis in the heart of North Philadelphia. From the home decor to vintage fashion to jewelry, crystals, there's something at Sable for everyone. The boutique curates with a wide variety of products designed for women of color, women's joy, wellness, and beauty needs. They also carry men's items as well. Welcome, Syreeta. Welcome, Shanti.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. You're welcome. Oh, we're about to get it. This is going to be an awesome interview today.
I'm excited.
I'm excited, too. So, I have been a huge fan of Duafe hair salon for forever, right? In high school, I went natural for about 2 years, and then prom time came, and my grandmother, who's very, very traditional, said, okay, girl, time to get that perm. I was like, come on, Grandma. I'm like, we could just press it out. You could style it some kind of way. And she was like, no, that doesn't go well with the gown. So we just got to figure this out. We're going to go get that perm. And so I just knew that on the heels of graduating high school, going into college, that I was going to have locks. And that just wasn't in the cards for me at the time. So we're going to kick off today's interview with talking a little bit about how you, Syreeta, have been able to launch Duafe. It's been around for some time here, and you've created a plethora of products in the kitchen, essentially.
Yes.
So talk to us about that journey.
Well, leaving corporate America, I knew that I wanted to service my community. I knew that I wanted to be an advocate for beauty. I knew that I wanted to be, I wanted to help us redefine what beauty is and put us in that. It's too often when we're watching TV, going through magazines, that we don't see reflections of us, which makes it really easy for us to justify some of the decisions that we're making as it relates to our beauty that long term affects us in horrible ways.
Yes.
And it's still shocking to me that what we're in 2018, women are coming to me with gashes of alopecia in their heads. No, just certain things that I see. It hurts my heart. So in seeing the choices that we made and knowing that your lifestyle is supposed to predict your hairstyle, knowing that we spend so much time altering ourselves to show up, I wanted to create an environment that fed into who you are, unapologetically. Be able to talk to you about our history and understand why we're making the choices that we're making. Be able to feed you healthy options so you know that there is other things outside of things that are fed into our community. And I can say within the 20 years, I've been really successful with doing that. And it really came out of my love of brown people. And so with making product and doing hair, I could not find anything that I felt was worthy of my client's scalp. That's what prompted me to do research, to read as much as I can, to ask questions so I could create something that can give women another natural option. And that was my goal. And I felt like once I did that with the product, with the Sable Collective, what I understood was 20 years of being in business, I was able to fill certain gaps, but there was a larger gap that needed to be filled in how we spend our money and how often our money is going to everybody but us. I got more to do. We got more to do. And we're excited about everything that we have to do. And ecstatic that I had a dream and God said, okay. And y'all sisters came in numbers.
Yes. So Shanti, I'm just going to pivot a little bit. I'm going to talk to you about the Sable Collective. So throughout history, the fashion has been greatly influenced by fabric of society all over the world. In the fashion industry, it is a global industry where fashion designers, manufacturers, merchandisers, and retailers from all over the world collaborate to design, manufacture, and sell clothes, shoes, and accessories. Talk to us about how you've been able to masterfully aggregate, source, and feature women of color at the Sable Collective.
I think it started off with our taste, of course, what we gravitated towards. What's really special about the Sable Collective is there's this growing community of Black folks supporting each other online. So through retail, through art, through music, through poetry, you're constantly following new people and in many ways sharing their work and supporting them. But it's been pretty much like a viral exchange and support community. So when it came to like fashion and a lot of the products that we have in the space, we turned to the internet. We turned to people that we have been following and liking for years and just reached out to them and said, we really would like you to be in this space. And so what that does for our customers when they come in, they're super excited because they're like, oh my God, I follow them on the internet. That's Radical Pins. That's Alex L. I've never seen this before in real life. So they get to touch it. And it's not just like liking with a heart. It's like holding it and seeing the quality and purchasing it directly from us. So it's basically been a combination of us having our heavy hitters that we just really love and we reached out to. It's been a combination of a lot of local artists reaching out to us and us being like, of course, we'll have you in the space. So it's been pretty grassroots in that way. I don't have any experience with the fashion world, quote unquote. It's just been guerrilla style grassroots. I like you. You want to come into the shop? Yeah, okay. And then we move forward from there.
I think that is incredible. So as we think about the collective work that both you, Syreeta, and Shanti are doing at the Sable Collective, talk about how the hair care product development industry has really helped to take the work that you're doing to the next level. How is your craft and your product line supporting the collective work that you're doing at Sable?
Okay, well, with me making products for over, say, 17 years, what I'm enjoying about creating products for the Sable Collective is that I'm able to lean more towards the body products, the spiritual baths, the salves, the so many different things. So Sable put me in, constantly putting me in a position where I can create other things that can become household items. Brown women, it doesn't even have anything to do with brown women. It's just about women at this point. For some reason, we clamor to products. My challenge is most cases the products that they're clamoring to, they're more emotionalized than what really needs to be placed on their body. So I'm just going to put a little PSA out there. We have these smartphones, please, with those products, even if they've been on your grandmom's and your mom's counter. Take a moment and read what's in it. The first 3 items that are mentioned is what the product is mostly made out of. So when I approach making a product, I think about that. I think about my client's scalps. I think about our skin. I think of so many different things. So the growth of products only help us in the long run because it allows for us to take another little step in the market to say, okay, we know when someone has something all natural or holistic, that does not mean that that's what it is because it's not it just doesn't mean it. But with the Sable Collective and Duafe products, I'm able to really feed us in the right way in holistic, natural, healthy products that you can use for your whole family.
I also think that this idea of like organic, holistic, natural is really big now, and people are clamming to it. But I think I know what we're trying to do, and what we are doing is we're trying to connect with women in the heart level in many ways. So if you're going to be getting certain scents, if you're going to try a new product, like we are going to create a wellness products, which are around your spirit, how you're feeling emotionally. So we're really trying to educate in terms of like what certain scents, essential oils, how they affect you on an emotional level. If you're going to be doing a sacred bath, when's the right time to do that? How do you go about doing that? And how it will affect you emotionally? Because I think A lot of us just want to cover up stuff. We want to put on makeup. We want our hair to be perfect, but inside we're suffering.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, yeah, you do that, but you're doing it to beautify, correct, and heal some emotional things. That once that's done, the beauty part is just
secondary,
like secondary to what we really want to tap into.
I think that's incredible. You know, Shanti, as I think about the brick and mortar space that you actually have in North Philadelphia, this little factoid, 90% of people turn right when they walk into a store, right? And this is a mind-boggling insight, right? And so anthropologists, experienced designers, interior designers, brand managers, and data scientists have spent countless hours searching for the perfect bones and layouts of a store layout to optimize the raison d'etre, the reason why people are even coming to your place of business to purchase, receive services to begin with, right? Could you ladies talk to us about how you've masterfully, and I keep using the words masterfully because I love what you're doing at the Sable Collective. You have figured out a way to get people into the boutique without bumping into one another. You allow space through your design for them to kind of take in all the elements of the products, the services that you've curated. Talk to us about how you've created that environment.
Well, how we created the environment was really about experience. When we first started, we really leaned on intentional retail. And what did that mean for us? It meant that we selected, we curated the space. We selected our vendors, as Shanti said, in a way where you were supporting Brown no matter what you picked up. And we also created a vibe in which it feels more like you went into your family's home. You went into your favorite cousin's aunt's home, and the only thing you don't smell is the pies cooking in the kitchen and the greens on the stove. So what we did was when designing the space, we really went to the heart.
Yeah, I don't think that's the first time I heard that, and that's amazing. But we didn't go into this like strategically, like we're gonna make
It was strategic.
It was strategic, but we're gonna put this jewelry on this left hand side here, and then
we're gonna make sure when they go to the checkout, we're gonna have candy there with children's toys.
It wasn't like that. It was just like what feels good, what looks good, what feels good to us is kind of what is leading us. It's definitely just like our heart, our vibe. When people come in, so many times women are just like, like, I feel good. I feel relieved when I come in.
You made this for us. I'm like, yeah, girl.
So, I think that's what's leading us.
Because it's too often when you go into spaces, even though they want your money, they don't want you there. You know, you go into spaces and there's less of a visual of ethnic items. So you wait until a dune day, and that's when you do all your shopping. Wow. So why shouldn't we have that experience every day?
Every day.
Why shouldn't we walk into a store and someone not follow? You know what I mean?
And you want to chill in the store, right? You want to hang out.
Yes.
And it's in a space where it's just really solely about love. And I feel like as long as we make sure we keep that, I mean, we are in business. And I think in business, too often, like when I first started Duafe, I read this Sister CEO book and a couple entrepreneurial books, and everything was like, take your emotion away from the business because business don't have emotion. Da, 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 da. But then when you start to speak to so many entrepreneurs, they have cocked and crazy because in the attempt of removing emotion out of everyday life, because that's what it is. You know, being an entrepreneur, you're living in your dream and you got to pay your bills while doing it.
Yes.
But you can't lose sight of the soul of why you're doing it.
Right. I want to unpack that a little bit. So while you're living in your dream, would you say that the Sable Collective and Duafe, the work that you ladies are doing, you're able to zag when everybody is zigging, right? Because you are designing hair care products, services where women can come in, and men alike, to get their hair done, to buy your salves, to buy your body salts, to, learn of other wonderful makers in the city and beyond. Would you say that your unique value proposition is that you are designing from the heart? It really is the focus of the human.
Yes.
Not at all about, strategically finding ways to generate revenue.
Yes. And the money then comes. because people, even with me servicing women, I can tell when they come in hard heavy.
And what do you do then when they come in hard heavy?
I love on them more. You know, I can tell if they're mean or short, or if they're something other than I know where their heart is, or who they are authentically. Yeah, I love them more. I give them a hug. How was your day? What do I need to do? You know, I'm not a therapist, but I can definitely give you a couple referrals.
Yes. I think that's so awesome. I'm a woman of color. I'm always looking to curate my own experiences. We were talking about this offline, right? Even we're talking about traveling. You know, so just talk about how, you know, the two of you make referrals to each other. Like, what is that pathway like? Like, how did this Sable Collective and Duafe, like, really, how did you come to be?
There you go, trying to age me.
So
you said when you were in high school? Oh, yeah. Y'all throwing blows. But
we love you. We
no,
so
I'm
love
joking.
you.
I'm really not that sensitive.
I was in the 5th or the 6th grade. I can't remember. I was in the 5th or the 6th grade. I just got my ears pierced, and I wanted to get my hair braided.
Okay.
And my mom couldn't braid. She didn't know how to cornrow. So I don't know how... I don't know how it happened. But somehow, for my birthday, I ended up in this big house in West Philly in Syreeta's bedroom.
Wow.
Getting my hair braided, and her mom giving me turkey spaghetti.
Wow.
And like at the end of the braid, I remember being so touched. A young kid, I remember being like, "Wow, this is amazing." So when I became kind of angsty and ready to make a life change for myself, I wanted a mentor. So I reached out to her and harassed her for the last time. And she said, okay. So I kind of shared my dreams. We have a lot of parallel life circumstances. Our daughters are like 3
months.
3 weeks?
Yeah,
3 weeks apart.
Wow.
If even that, 2 weeks apart. So we would, be walking down the street with 2 carriages and be like,
Wow.
what?
Girl, you did it too.
So it just worked itself out, and I shared what I wanted to do, and I got this call, and I was free falling. Like, I had quit my job, and the job fell through that I thought I had, so I was just kind of free falling. And I get this call from Syreeta, like, hey, you want to do that thing that you had a dream about? Let's go. And I was like, okay. Okay.
I was like, don't worry about it. Listen, I'll get it up. And once it get up, then we gonna get it started. And that's kind of how it happened in the beginning. And thank you, Shanti, for trusting me. Right? Thank you.
I think this is so dope. So I want you two to talk about, like, really the business model. So you have a hair salon, essentially,
Right.
and you have a boutique that have come together in a marriage, really.
Yeah.
So how are people navigating between the two?
I think it's great because, people will sit in my chair and they're like, oh, I heard about the Sable Collective. I didn't know it was right beside.
That was
or
strategic.
people walk into Sable and they're like, oh, they may say something to Shanti like, I like your hair. And they're like, well, they're right next door. So our goal is, this is just the beginning. So we're just figuring out how to create that foundation that we can then recreate it. Because what it is it's a cultural center.
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
How so?
So what we mean by that is we're saying you're enough. We're saying that you're beautiful. We're saying that we're willing to walk in this process with you. That alone makes people, the moment when they walk in, they're like, wow, the space is made for you. The products are made for you. We've been very conscious about this process.
Yeah, and we're also it's a collective, so we're also really aware of what our expertises are, and then we're also inviting others in the community, other leaders, especially Black women, to lead in other services. So we have yoga once a month.
Reiki.
We have Reiki coming. We have all these services. We had a breastfeeding meeting where women can meet up and talk about, being mothers. So
group therapy for
single mothers. So we're having all of these. It's not just hair. It's not just bangles. It's like, again, we're going back to the heart work that folks, ultimately really want to focus on in themselves, really. So in that way, we're trying to create a center for people to always find something for them, whether it be you get your hair done, you get your bangles, you're coming for the yoga, you're going to get your, alternative energy work, all of these things in one space.
So that's why we're just getting started now. But if we were to talk projected where we see Sable and Duafe becoming, where we're offering doula services, where much like what the Enterprise Center has done, you have an incubation for people who want to do business that fit in the building. That's what we want to offer in Duafe and Sable in our building, where those people who fit our model, fit the things that we know that our community need, the women and men need, and finding people who are willing to come in and offer their services. So as we're growing, as I said, we start learning more about how to take care of ourselves in a better space. Then we can bring those people in. So it's a space that can keep growing.
Yeah.
So currently it's a for-profit entity meets a social enterprise entity, but the long-term goal is to have something of the sorts, like a hybrid between for-profit and maybe nonprofit.
Yeah, why not? Definitely. Because we did our community event, I think we did a great job.
Talk to us about, what's that community event that you're speaking of?
That was when I approached Syreeta for mentorship a couple years ago, and we were like, all right, well, let's do a project together. Syreeta had just moved to 22nd and Lippincott, 22nd and Allegheny, North Philly, which was a little bit different than a very high-end, posh space in Scotts Lane. So it was just kind of like, how do we establish this new business in this community and kind of create a relationship between the community and the business. So we decided to have a community event. We had a basketball tournament. We had a lot of social services come in to offer their services to folks. We gave away book bags because it was the end of the summer, getting ready to fall, food, music, live performances, and this was all taking place in Panani Community Center, which is right next, the Recreation Center, which is right across the street from Duafe.
Talk a little bit about how the two of you have been able to help local entrepreneurs keep the dollar cycling in the community.
Well, we have local vendors, so makers in particular. For Sable, I can speak on Sable. So a lot of women we're doing like consignment between the makers and ourselves. So it's just like money flowing at the end of the month. We're dispersing the money that's made. And it's just a sustainable way for both us and them to keep our work out there, for them to keep making stuff, and for us to kind of support them in that way. And they support us in many ways as well.
And I will definitely say with Duafe moving from Sherman Mills to back into the community off of 22nd Street, 22nd Lippincott, it was real interesting. So I'm grateful for that, a community event, because I find with some of the women that we service, they felt comfortable in going to a space that was culturally sterile. It made them feel comfortable. And me moving back in a community forced certain people to come into communities that they only stopped at stop signs or red lights.
Wow.
So it's interesting to see people adjust, in which we have to nowadays in the climate that we're living in. So with them adjusting, they're purchasing things from the community that they would normally drive to their, suburbs or wherever they're perched. So I see it even in a deeper light, where we're helping people meet folk in the middle. Yeah. Those people who have classed themselves out of the community. Now they're forced to come back if they want to receive a service from us or walk into Sable. So I'm grateful.
What would you say to the woman who was in a very unique position, who wanted to start a Sable Collective, start a Duafe? Like, what would be some words of wisdom that you would give to this woman?
Honor themselves in their dream. Don't lose yourself. Be conscious of, ask for help. Surround yourself with people who've already done it. Don't feel uncomfortable to say what you can't do, and then you'll be surprised that person will show up. I would say make sure that they're in our community and understand what our community needs.
I would say just do it, really. I didn't have any experience with retail, with owning a business, and I'm learning as I go, and it's the best learning experience that I've ever had. Everything that I'm learning, it's sticking to me. I'm not just going to the classroom and writing stuff down and like cramming. I'm like learning hands-on experiences. And, I have a lot of bruises and scraped knees, but like this is the learning process for me in particular. So I would say just do it. Just start. Start somewhere and keep moving forward. The process is continuous. It's not like you're going to start and end. It's just a constant journey. And I think I've learned the most about myself, and I've been the most proud of myself in this past 2 years and my whole entire life.
So talking about vulnerability and utilizing the space to learn about yourself, ladies, tell me in your own words what success means to you.
Damn. I'm joking.
Mic drop.
All right, so real talk. When I started in my 20s, success was about I'm going to make money. I used to watch what is that daggone cartoon? Pinky and the Brain, when he's like, "What are you doing today, Pinky? We're going to take over the world. I'm going to have a hair salon, and I'm going to have everything sisters need, and ha 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 ha. I'm going to take over the world. Move over, Madam C.J. Walker." But after life begins, and I had the opportunity, some really dope opportunities to travel the world. I mean, to service Janet Jackson, to Jill Scott, to Ava DuVernay, to Bill Cosby. I know he doesn't seem favorable, but when he called me, I was like, wow. All these dope people. Like, I never thought that I would ever see Nobel Peace Prize and say, I did here for that. Or, oh my, I could keep on going.
Yes.
The honors, the Kennedy honors, these things. Like, thank God, first off. But I would say when I was in that mist, I thought success was being around celebrities and making a lot of money. I had those experiences. I pray as you get older or as you want to develop, it becomes more of creating stronger relationships.
Yes.
It becomes like, I may not be a millionaire, but my worth is more than that.
Yes.
My emotional health
is more than that. Yes.
I need to root myself in all things that is my core values. So that's what success is to me. To be able to wake up in the morning and say, well, okay, maybe I didn't do that well. Today I have another opportunity to do it. Thank God. God woke me up. These are the things I need to work on. Okay, I can only work on those 2, maybe not 5. And then have somebody say, well done, or have somebody say, now, Mom, I need a hug when I feel. You know what I mean? So it just becomes, success means to not have regret, guilt, shame, just to be able to show up and be present. Right. So that's success to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was going to preach today.
Well, I need a collection plate. I missed church on Sunday. I missed church.
I think success, it ties in very much to what Syreeta said. I think success to me is having time. I can afford to be slow down, to have time with people that I love, to cook dinner, to be with my daughter, to travel. Yes. So I guess there is definitely a financial aspect because, a lot of time is spent working and hustling. Yes. So once I find that balance or that's created where I can sustain myself, where I don't have to be hustling and bustling so much and I can slow down so that I can be present, so that I cannot have the anxiety that, the race against time often causes, is success for me. When you have that time, then you can tap into your heart and be like, yo, why am I so angry at my dad or whatever it is?
Right. My baby daddy.
All of these things.
Can't help myself.
Really?
You know, it was Father's Day yesterday. I'm a little sensitive.
True. But these are the things this is what goes on.
You can be conscious.
Time. Yeah, you can have time to be present and to deal with so much of the inner stuff, rather than everything being about your outer world and material accumulation and domination and all that jazz. Yeah.
Well, ladies, this was a true zigzag for me today. I feel empowered, filled
Get it, girl. So do I.
Ready to do the next thing. Thank you so much. My pleasure. So, for our listening audience, I'm with the 2 dope queens of Philadelphia, which is Syreeta Scott and Miss Shanti Mayers. Get it right, Tiffany, get it right. Of the Sable Collective, which is a fashion oasis in the heart of North Philadelphia, and a passion project of these two incredible women, Syreeta Scott and Shanti Mears. From home decorum to vintage fashion to jewelry and crystals, there's something at Sable for everyone. So for those who are listening in and want to learn a little bit more about what you do at the Sable Collective, what you do at Duafe, how can they go about connecting with you?
You can catch us on social media. Our Instagram is at the Sable Collective, SABLE Collective, COLLECTIVE. We also have an online store, so if you're listening from Chicago, you can still purchase all of the things, www.thesablecollective.com. And you can also just come through. That's what I really would like to happen versus all like this virtual thing. Come through. Our address is 3133 North 22nd Street, Philadelphia, PA 19132.
And Duafe Holistic Hair Care, you can hit us up on Instagram at Locks by Duafe. That's LOCSBYDUAFE. You can also come through at 3129 North 22nd Street. That's off of 22nd and Allegheny, off of Lippincott. You can give us a call at 267-297-7636.
All the consultations are free.
They're
you don't
free.
have to pay. You can just walk in with your hair and you can have an evaluation, make an appointment. You may even be able to get your hair done the same day.
Look at God.
For more information about Zigzag and the Grit Live, visit theenterprisecenter.com and find us under the For Entrepreneurs tab. My name is Tiffany Spraggins Payne, and I'm signing off.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Martin, the production consultant for The Grit Live. If you enjoy our programming, the most important thing you can do to support us is share each episode with your friends and family. You can also leave us a rating and a review on the podcast player of your choice to help others find us. Thank you for listening.